A lot of us are not getting the best that life has to offer because we're not letting go when it's time to. And as a result, we limit our growth and miss out on opportunities. What if there was a way to know when a chapter is ending and gracefully step into the new one? Why, I thought you'd never ask. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to know when a chapter of life is over so that you can receive the blessings that come with starting a new one. And if you're new here, hi girl, my name is Marsella, and on this channel, I teach women how to become their highest self. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe. Ladies, I get it. It can be hard to accept that a stage of our life is coming to an end. We get so used to the same people, the same places, and doing the same things that it can be really hard to even think of doing anything else. But it's important to understand that the life of a high-level woman is all about evolving. It's not about playing it small or playing it safe. It's about embracing change, because while change may be uncomfortable, it takes us to the next level. And so I want you to be encouraged and excited about stepping into your next chapter. And rest assured, it'll be the best one yet. So if you're serious about leveling up in this new chapter, be sure to watch until the end of the video for my most important tip. Let's begin. You'll know when a chapter of your life is over when what you used to do no longer works. To explain this, let me share a quick story. So a couple of years ago, I was working this job, and while I was grateful to have the job, if I'm being completely honest, I just could not take the environment. It was a toxic workplace, and I dreaded going to work in the morning. But I was a young adult, and I knew that I was expected to have a big girl job, so I just sucked it up and went to work every day. Because here's the thing, even though I didn't particularly like the work, I was really good at it. Like, to the point where my coworkers would come to me for advice. But regardless of how good I was at the job, I just knew that it wasn't for me. In my heart, I was called to pursue my passions. I was called to make music. And so the months continued to roll by, and I kept showing up for work. And then one day, something happened. All of a sudden, I was no longer good at this job. I kid you not, it was like night and day. Every single thing that I used to do to close a sale no longer worked. And I know you may be thinking, well, maybe it was just the compound effect of not wanting to go to the job finally catching up with me, but I promise you it was not. Deep in my heart, I know it wasn't from a lack of effort. And I was actually present at that job, even though I didn't like it. And it wasn't until one day on my lunch break that it finally clicked for me. My time was up. The chapter of me going to a job that I did not like was over. It was time for me to trust myself, and most importantly, to trust God with my life. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice, and within a couple of days, I was securing songwriting deals. And that was confirmation for me that I had ended a chapter and started a new one. If you're in a season of your life where you're struggling with things that used to come easy to you, I promise you it's because that chapter is over. Before you step into your new chapter, it's going to feel like you're in the wilderness. It's going to feel like you can't get a hold of things. It's going to feel confusing. Nothing makes sense. And it is in that moment that I want you to stop and just feel gratitude. You need to feel a deep sense of gratitude because you have to understand where you are at this time. The reason why you can no longer make sense of your situation is because your situation is changing. God will make it abundantly clear to you that what was is no longer. And so he puts you in this position so that you can see it clearly too, and then make a decision. You have to change course. You have to start in a new direction. And the reason why I say that you should feel a deep sense of gratitude in this moment is because it's confirmation that God has heard your prayers. It's confirmation that the universe is listening to you, because whatever situation you were in, you're now being rescued out of it. And how beautiful is that? You'll know when a chapter of your life is over when everything feels smaller. Have you ever been back to a school that you graduated from, especially if it was a school you attended when you were very young, like an elementary school or a junior high school? Have you ever noticed how small everything feels? It never quite feels like how you remember it. In your mind, the auditorium was twice as big as it actually is. And now that you're on the playground again, you're wondering, how did we ever play tag in such a small space? And the reason for this is because you've outgrown that environment. Yes, you've physically grown and you've gotten older, but you've mentally grown as well. You've seen bigger places. You went on to high school and college. You've traveled and you've seen more of the world. And now that elementary school, though we love it, just isn't going to cut it anymore, because it was good for that time, but we've now outgrown that place. Too many people get stuck in elementary school because they refuse to accept that they've outgrown the place. They've outgrown the people there. They've outgrown the perspectives and the conversations that take place in the elementary school, but yet they stay because they're afraid. This analogy can be applied to all areas of your life. You're in a relationship that you know you should have left 2 years ago. You're in a job that has no future and you have no passion for, but yet you keep showing up anyway, just going with the motions, until one day you just have to face the truth. And it doesn't serve you or that place for you to stay there. You were going with the motions so much that you never stopped to really look at things. Because if you ever did, it would be very obvious to you that a 30-year-old should not be in elementary school, that a 30-year-old should not be doing things at an elementary level. If you recognize that everything around you feels smaller, take that as a good sign, because now you're aware of it. And with this awareness, you can make changes. You'll know when a chapter of your life is over when you just don't enjoy it anymore. This one seems so obvious, but too often we overlook it because we're adulting so hard that we stop paying attention that we're disconnected from our work. When you started this job, you were inspired and optimistic. Now, 2 years later, you feel drained and apathetic. And because all of your peers are drained and apathetic at their jobs, you just accept it. But let me be the one to tell you that if you're going through the motions, you're going nowhere. Living your life with no intention is going to lead you nowhere. The moment, and I mean the moment, you realize that you're disconnected from your work, or you no longer see how this job or this thing will benefit you in the long run, that's the moment that you need to stop and reflect. And you need to ask yourself the hard questions. Here's a tough one. Could I do this job for the rest of my life? If the answer to that is no, you already need to be pivoting. Do you see how that question made things crystal clear for you? Now you're already getting your plans together because you know that this is going to take a turn sometime. But I'd rather you figure that out today as opposed to 10 years from now. If you get up in the morning and you feel resistance towards going after the day because you have a job that's in the way or you have a relationship that's in the way, then you have to understand that that chapter is over. Because yes, there are times that we're not going to feel like doing the things that we need to do. We are human. That being said, you should not feel like that every day. That's a red flag. Another red flag is feeling empty. To double down on that point that I made about going with emotions, that's how you will end up feeling. Showing up each and every day to something that you know you're disconnected from. At some point, it's going to make you feel like you have an enormous hole at the center of you. And who wants to live like that? And not only is that a painful existence, it's not sustainable. So do yourself a favor and get back to the things that you enjoy. Because when you enjoy something, you really show up for it and you engage with it, and you're more likely to find success. You'll know a chapter of your life is over when you daydream about living another life. If you spend time comparing your life to other people, then it may be a sign that you need to close your current chapter and start a new one. We always hear that we shouldn't compare our lives to others, especially on social media. And I want to say that I 100% agree with that. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. And you know what else is the thief of? Time. Spending your time scrolling, watching everyone else live their dream lives, and wondering why you're not doing the same is just not a good use of your time. And you're gonna feel pretty crappy about yourself too. But on this topic of comparison, you know what question no one ever asks? Why do you feel the need to compare your current life to the life of someone else on social media? Could it be that you're just not satisfied with the life that you're currently living? Could it be that the person whose Instagram you're stalking is someone you aspire to be like? If that's the case, why not just get started on that? Take your time back from scrolling and put that time into building. I see this so many times. A woman that is coming to the end of a chapter in her life, and instead of leaning into it, she distracts herself and tries to escape into social media. She's afraid of what's to come, and she's afraid of the work that it takes to get there. With all that considered, what does daydreaming actually help you do? Once you stop being present in your own life, make a shift. Make a decision to step into a new chapter that serves you. A chapter that allows you to live out your wildest dream. Because really, that's what you want anyway. It's the reason that you're daydreaming. It's the reason that you're trying to distract yourself with social media. It's time to leave the chapter that you're currently in and write a new story. You'll know a chapter of your life is over when you can't remember why you started it in the first place. I think it's so important to understand that although we're living our lives, there are different versions of us that will show up along the way. And the reason for this is simple: growth. We are not who we were 10 years ago, and in 10 years, we will not be who we are today. And so we have to understand that there are different versions of ourselves that are making decisions for our overall life. The old you may have wanted that career, but this current version doesn't. The old you may have wanted to date that man, but this present version knows that you two are not a good fit. And so a lot of the time when women are going with the flow, it's because they're choosing to honor their old version instead of their current version. And I think your current version deserves just as much respect. If you give too much importance to who you were in a former chapter, you'll end up feeling lost in the present. Because no matter what you do, you'll always feel out of place. And this is because at a deeper level, you know the situation is not serving you. And so you have to make the decision. Your new chapter begins when you start considering where you are and where you want to be. At the end of your life, what would you be proud to say you have done or who you've become? This is how you step into a new chapter, and it's how you make this chapter the best chapter yet. When a chapter comes to an end, I want you to understand that it is not a time of mourning. It is a time of celebration, because your life is now going to be filled with new blessings. You're going to have new opportunities, and you're going to grow in new ways. And as a woman committed to her higher self journey, nothing should excite you more. Now I want to hear from you. Are you living in a chapter that's over, or have you stepped into your new life? Drop it in the comments below. And if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Be sure to subscribe. We'd love to have you become a part of the family. Earlier, I mentioned that you need to acknowledge when a chapter is over. But if you lack focus, you won't have the capacity to step into your next chapter. So watch this video where I discuss why most women never become their dream self so that you don't become like most women. Okay, my loves, until next time, take good care of yourselves. Bye.